Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Motive Racing. We are here for Tier 1 of the GTE Championship this evening. Back on air for the big boys here of the GTE category. And I'm delighted to say I'm joined here this evening by Emo Guy once again. How are you doing, mate?
I'm doing fantastic. How about yourself?
I'm doing very, very well, thank you. We've had a good Tier 2 race to get things going this evening. We saw a good battle between J Palm and Chris Pissock at the top of that one. Also, George having a good tussle with the Mutts Nuts as well. The Mutts Nuts ended up coming out on top in that one and taking the final podium spot. But looking forward to more of the same here. Obviously, these guys are the creme de la creme when it comes to GTE here at Motive, so we're expecting some high standards here from these Tier 1 boys. But lots and lots to get excited about, and currently Bruce AFC setting the pace at the moment with a 1 minute 38.9. That is a fantastic lap there from Bruce.
Oh yeah, when it comes to the beginning, the first sector of this track it is quite slow, quite technical. You have to try and keep yourself on that line, try not to come off it. If you do, you're just going to lose more time. It's one of those kind of tracks you just need to keep attention at all times and not lose it at all.
Yeah, definitely. It's you can't look away for a second here. It's one of those where the slightest little error and that's it. You know, as we saw in Tier 2, there were a few guys that were making a couple of mistakes, and that was it. They dropped 10, 20 seconds back. It's high speed as well, so when you do make a mistake, it costs you just that little bit more time. Currently, we're seeing Smithy is faster, who's sat P2 in this session at the moment, 6 tenths off of the pole position time. He's coming out of the last corner now. Can he put himself up on the top spot here as he comes over the line? He can't. He's
Oh,
down
unfortunately
on his
not.
personal best. Yeah. Still stays P2 for the time being. My dad Peanut out on a lap time. Looks like he's picked up a penalty from the race director for crossing the pit exit line, but he's currently sat P3 in this session. So it's a good lap there from my dad Peanut. Always excels in the dry conditions, driving the Porsche. Last weekend it was not his race, unfortunately. Just things went horribly wrong in the sprint race. In the feature, it was a little bit better for the start, but it ended up all going pear shaped, which was very, very unfortunate for better from my dad Peanut this week. And obviously, he is a former esports racer on Project Cars 2, so we know he's got the talent. Has he got the composure this evening?
Well, very much to like every other race we saw, man. He does. He definitely has the pace. He definitely has the concentration and the will to be able to compete with everybody else, keep himself up there, put himself in his own little pocket, and just concentrate on the race.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just about having that tunnel vision, I think. And every driver applies it at some point in their career. It's just about blocking out all the distractions and focusing yourself on the job at hand, which is putting in a lap or getting to the checkered flag first, whatever your target is in that race. As we looks like the only G's done a good lap time, put himself within a good within 4 tenths. As we see my dad Peanut coming over the line now, currently P4 in this session, and he stays P4, a little bit down on his personal best. Dalavan's up to P5, looks like he's brought it into the pits. He's not out there for another attempt. Valgest is in 6th in this session at the moment. You've got Grandad Stee, Ugbar in low 1 minute 41s. JR in the BMW still yet to set a full on lap in anger. Lorna Lou saying in the comment section, good luck JR. That's the other half of JR Lock and Load there. Chubbing in on the stream. Good to have her with us this evening. Let us know whether you think JR's got what it takes to take the race victory tonight or even pole position. It's getting late in this session now. We're getting close to the end of it, and hopefully JR can pull something out of the bag here on his final run of the session. Currently running with the only Gido, sat second at the moment, 4 tenths off of the pole time. We know he's been doing 1 minute 38s in practice in the Corvette as he comes out on the exit of Spoon, taking a very wide line, maximising the exit to the absolute best of his ability now. As we come down the back straight, looks like that lap delta's a little bit, it's gone crazy there. It says he's 49 seconds down on his personal best. Let's see if the only G can pull back 49 seconds here in this last sector, which doesn't even last for 49 seconds, this final sector. the only G here. Out of the last turn, coming over the line now. Let's see if he can improve. It looks like he can't improve. He's going to have to get one more run here at pole position. My Dad Peanut coming out of the last turn. Sat P4. JR moves up to P5. Good lap there from JR in the BMW. My Dad Peanut comes over the line. Stays P4. He's going to get one more opportunity at pole. So we've got Bruce AFC, the only G. My Dad Peanut all out there on lap times. Grandad Steve looks like he's coming through the middle sector now, up towards Spoon. Can he improve in the Porsche? Currently sat 8th in this session. Ugbar's still out there also on his wheel for the first time this evening. Bought the G29, it came this afternoon. Let's see if he's got up to speed with it already. In the meantime though, we are following Grandad Steer as he exits Spoon Curve up this long back straight. It's pivotal to get a good exit out of Spoon because it sets you up for this entire last sector, which is flat out from this point onwards. As we see here, Stee coming up towards 130R, throws the car in, staying off the grass on the left hand side and also keeping it within the white lines on the exit. Staying off the curb, also very cautious approach, but plenty of speed here. Grandad Stee throws it into the last turn. What's it going to be for him as he comes up towards the line? Currently P9 in this session. Can he improve? Looks like he can't improve.
Not.
The only G still out there on a lap time. Can he put himself up there? Harris has gone P6. Harris has moved himself up into 6th place. The only G coming around. Ugbar looks like he can't improve on his lap time. Stays P10. It's all down to the only G now. Can he take pole position away from Bruce AFC? Bruce AFC currently on a 1 minute 38.8. Here comes the only G throwing it through the last corner. Can he knock Bruce off of his top perch here? The only G coming over the line, and it is not enough. He improves, but not by enough. Stays P2. Harris comes over the line. Doesn't look like he improved there on his final run. No, he didn't. Stayed P6. So it's going to be Bruce lining up on pole. Looks like Bruce improved at the end there. Went 3/10 quicker than the G on his final run. So cementing his pole position there. Bruce AFC on the top here at Suzuka. The only G lining up alongside him on the front row. Then we got Smithy and My Dad Peanut lining up on the second row. JR in the end managing to put it in 5th. So hopefully Lorna Lou will be happy with that one. We've got Harris lining up alongside him. Dalavan and Falgues with Grandad Stee and Ugbar completing the top 10. And DC Wrestle making his debut here in Tier 1 tonight in 11th place. And AL Tell, Peanut himself, lining up at the back. Unfortunate to see him not getting a lap in here in this session. So that is that, ladies and gentlemen, for the qualifying session for round 4 of Motor Racing's GTE Championship. We're about to go racing here for the sprint race, and I'm sure this is going to be an absolutely fascinating one. Emo to go.
Yeah, definitely, especially when it comes to that first corner. If you just go in there, all guns blazing, there's bound to be an accident. Let's just hope these guys keep a level head and try and keep it out of each other's way going into this first corner.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about keeping cool and keeping your composure, and let's hope that the Tier 1 boys have learned from last week at Dubai when you saw that mass pile up off the line. That was in wet conditions, granted, and in the desert it does get slippery anyway, so the wet conditions would have compounded that issue. But we're just hoping for a nice clean start for all these boys as we come into turn 1. Let's hope that everyone behaves themselves on the brakes and everyone's practice starts here, because we don't want a repeat of what happened last week in the sprint race. It was a little bit of argy-bargy going on at the start.
Oh yeah, that was just not a good start for anybody in the lower half of the table. Is somebody put their foot down, didn't think about the static rain on the ground, and just put the foot down, and they've just completely lost it. And that's obviously those who watched saw exactly what happened. But thankfully this week we do not have any rain scheduled for any of our races tonight in Tier 1.
Thank goodness for that. Thank goodness for that. So 30 seconds left to go, ladies and gentlemen. Let us know in the comments section who you think is going to take this one here for the sprint race for Tier 1. Bruce AFC setting the pace in qualifying, but I'm absolutely certain that the only G will have something to say about that in the race. We're almost about to go racing here at Suzuka in the land of the rising sun, Japan. Just these drivers making their final preparations, and here we go. The lights are going red. We got 5 red lights. When they go out, we will be underway. Here we go. And it's lights out and away we go, and it's a great start there from the Only G, getting off the line absolutely brilliantly. Bruce a little bit bogged down off the line. He's going to have Smithy and Might Have Peanut attacking him coming into turn one. Looks like Bruce is trying to hold the ends outside here. Smithy is up the inside into turn two. Looks like he's got the position. He's going to run out of road though. Looks like Smithy has done it.
Oh
Up
no.
into P2, and in the background there you've got a bit of an incident. Looks like Falgast Harris and Dalavan all coming off there at turn two. Disaster for those boys. Looks like they're just scrambling back onto the track now, but Falgast down into last place here in that one. Disaster for him. What a start from Smithy. Smithy managing to get up into P2 off the line, getting that move on the inside of Bruce. Bruce gave him the room, and Bruce with a horrible start. Down to P3 from pole position. Looks like Peanut, the runner Peanut is trying to defend here from JR coming in towards Degner. Is JR going to go for a move? Has thought about it, but then thought better of it. In the background, you can also see Grandad Steer and Ayatel fighting this one out. Ayatel, what a start from Peanut himself. He's gone from 12th up into, there's not even 14 people racing. He's gone up from 12th to 7th place here at the start of this lap. That is incredible progress here from Ayatel. He's cleared Ugbar, DC Wrestle, Dalavan, Falgast and Harris. And he's now, next up for him will be Grandad Steve. And he's facing some competition here from Ugbar, who's all over the back of him. Our Flying Dutchman, his first night on a wheel. Certainly wants to impress here as we come out of Spoon Curve. So looks like we've got a battle here going on actually for third place between Might Have Peanut and Bruce FC. In fact, Bruce FC's lost another place, but they're going side by side here towards 130 yard. Might Have Peanut is going to hold the inside. Oh, he goes very, very wide there and pushes Bruce out, but it looks like he's going to hold on to the position. What do you reckon of that one? Elbows out, a little bit aggressive there, Imogo?
Well, it's a very, very high-speed corner, and if you're expecting to try and get through that too wide, then it's just going to end in carnage. Somebody's going to go wide. You know, if the person on the inside is going to go wide, then the person on the outside is going to go even wider, and it's just going to cause a big accident.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think there's not a whole lot you can do in that situation. He had the inside line. He was a little bit behind, but he did have the inside. They were side by side. I don't think you can really expect Might Have Peanut to be backing out of that in that situation. It gets heated, and I'm sure Bruce will have his own opinion on that, whether or not that agrees with what we're saying. That's what it's saying. Yes, Might Have Peanut loses the car. Oh my goodness, we've got a yellow flag here coming on the exit of the S's up towards Degner. Looks like he's waiting for the whole pack to come round. He's going to look for an opening here, and it looks like he does manage to get it turned back round again, but he's lost 6 places in the process. That is incredibly unfortunate, as we now ride with JR Lock and Load, who's closing that gap to Bruce. Helped out a little bit by Might Have Peanut's spin there. That's going to give him some clear air to chase down our final podium spot. JR driving the BMW had some talks over the course of the weekend with the Corvette team, and it looked like it was going to be all signed and sealed, and he was going to be joining Chevy for this evening. But unfortunately, the talks broke down earlier this afternoon after the MIA, which is the Motive International, I don't know, whatever it is. You know what the FIA?
Agency.
Yeah. What's the FIA? Formula International Agency.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, so the MIA is the Motive International Agency, and the MIA told JR that he wasn't able to change car. Be unfair on his fellow competitors if he was changing car and the others could not. It would set a poor example to the rest of the community if one of our admins was able to change car mid-season, even though he did come in as a substitute mid-season. But he's sticking it out in the BMW. Fair play to him, and he's doing a good job currently. It's at P4. It's not the best car in this GTE category. The Vet and the Porsche are definitely the strongest steeds.
Yeah, well, for a more straight track like the Daytona Road Course, or anything other than a track that's more bendy and complex like this one, that the BMW is just not suited to this kind of track. That more straight, high-speed kind of tracks is more suited towards the BMW.
Yeah, absolutely. It's Sakitto. If there was ever a track where this car would work, it probably would be this one, because you've got that final sector which is completely flat out. But as you say, I mean, the first sector it's really suffering through the S's, and Degner also. It's absolutely hopeless. As we come out of the Spoon up this back straight, this is the part of the track where we really do expect him to gain a little bit of time back here, up towards 130R now. He's currently got 6 seconds to the race leader, who is Bruce. And it looks like we've had a retirement from the race.
Have we?
Yep, somebody's retired. We've got 11
Oh yeah.
drivers left on the track. Didn't quite catch who that was.
It's yeah.
Let's see if we can try and figure out who that was. It was DC Wrestle. DC
Oh
Wrestle
no.
out of the race here. Very unfortunate to see. Was a reserve stand-in for this race. Late newcomer to this Tier 1. It is unfortunate as we see a couple of comments coming in. George Williams, otherwise known as Gypsy George, says, "Go on Porsche boys, rooting for you all." George obviously finishing P4 in the Tier 2 race earlier on this evening. Fantastic performance from him in that one. Good to have him in the comments section, checking us out live on YouTube here. We've got Daniel Luke Moore saying, "Good luck boys, Hyper is here." Good to have you on the stream with us. Hyper Drifter was racing in Tier 2 also. Just now he managed to finish in, I think it was 8th position, was it? Hyper Drifter?
Yeah, I was trying to catch up to him from most of the race. I was.
How was he doing on his first race? Did it look a good
Oh
performance from him?
yeah, he was doing real well. You know, he lost it a few times, but ultimately still managed to keep a good gap on me.
Yeah, it looked like he was sort of getting to grips with it. You know, obviously it's not easy on your first league race in a league like this where the caliber is so high and the bar's already been set um, so strongly. It's never easy to come in and be quick straight away. But
No,
yeah,
definitely not.
yeah, absolutely. But as we see here, currently riding with Smithy, he comes over the line. He's lapping 1.4 seconds. It looks like we've had another retirement here. Another retirement. Looks like Harris has retired the car. He
Yep.
came into the pits and it looks like he had some lengthy repairs on that and he's decided to call it a day. Doesn't think that he's going to be out of the pits in a reasonable amount of time. He's going to save it for the feature race, which will be coming up straight after this one. We'll have a 10-minute qualifying session where the top 5 are unable to qualify, and then after that we'll have the feature race, which will be 1.5 times the length of whatever we complete in this sprint. So stay tuned for that, guys. Still plenty of action left to be decided here on the Motive Racing channel, but for the time being it looks like Bruce is maintaining that gap to Smithy, but it's definitely the only G out front who has currently got the advantage here. He's definitely got the ascendancy in this race tonight. He's lapping quicker than anybody else. As I say, 1.4 seconds faster last time around than the man in P2, Smithy. And Bruce AFC, after showing that he had the pace in the qualifying session, unfortunately has dropped off a bit in the race.
Well, the OG he's definitely doing our as Corvette boys some justice here, especially those that were driving the Corvettes in Tier 2. Definitely doing us some justice. You know, bringing a little bit of redemption back to the Chevy name and motive racing.
Mm. Oh yeah, absolutely. Also Smithy running in P2, driving into Porsche, which holding those guys up at the moment. We've got Porsche team are having an absolute mare aside from Smithy tonight. You've got Grandad Stee, you've got Falgast in 6th, you've got Grandad Stee in 7th position at the moment. Might have Peanut
My
running in
dad
8th.
Peanut.
Yeah, and ALTEL having a horror story of a race at the moment in 10th position at the moment. Final top 10 spot here for him. So Smithy really the standout performer in the Porsche team at the moment as he comes through the S's, but he is losing time to the race leader, the only G.
Well, as we know, we've saw it plenty of times with the Porsche. It's very, you know, at least I've saw plenty of times that it has been extremely loose on the back end,
Mm.
and you know it's like Project Cars on ice with the Porsche. That is, it's not fun for a lot of people. But also Smithy's managed to somehow tame the beast that is the Porsche and keep it on the straight and narrow.
Yeah, if there's anyone who can do it, it's just Smithy's. Actually, although he can sometimes be a bit of a joker. He can make light of every situation, but he is, when he gets his head down and gets his foot on the gas, he's one of the quickest, most talented guys I've raced with on Project Cars 2, and he's incredibly clean. At times, if he's messing around, you know, he won't be the cleanest driver, but when he's in a proper league setting, there's no cleaner driver than Smithy. Honestly, he's one of the best racers I've raced with, and he's still keeping that gap honest at the front to G. 2.4 seconds at the front. It looks like Bruce AFC is starting to get his head in the game a little bit. G comes over the line. So 1 minute 40 from G that last time round. Smithy, 1.1 seconds faster. And Bruce, also 8/10 faster than the race leader. So this sprint race is by no means over. We're just over halfway through this one at the moment, and it's looking like some very, very blistering pace at the front. JR is running in fourth at the moment. It looks like he's a little bit off on lap time. 1 minute 44 last time around from JR, so he is starting to struggle. Also, he's picked up a penalty from the race director as well to boot, so that's not what he would have wanted. Dalavan running in fifth position. He's still running in. He's running in the 1 minute 40s, high 1 minute 40s at the minute.
Well, it's definitely an interesting track. But they also about that first sector. It's all about trying to keep. If you can keep your speed up in that and get a good racing line, you're going to be set up for the rest of your lap. That's how you get your pace. That's how you get your gap upon anybody else on this track. If you can keep that pace, that speed in the corner straight, then you're set up. You're going to get a really good lead on anybody else that's behind you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just about taming that beast, really.
Yeah. Especially when you're coming up those bends, since you're going uphill, it is hard to judge when that corner is going to just come up in front of you and just punch you in the face.
Yeah, it's one of those things where the wall is never too far away here at Suzuka. It's a purpose-built racing circuit, but the walls are always pretty close by. You can see as he come out of the flat-out final corner. As Timo Glock found out in the F1 a few years ago, when he unfortunately suffered quite a serious injury in that one, had to miss the remainder of the season. It was quite close to the end of the season anyway, but it's quite a tricky and at times dangerous circuit here, Suzuka, otherwise known as Sakitto here on Project Cars 2. Unfortunately, Project Cars 2 without a license to actually refer to it as Suzuka. But at the moment,
Well, but we all know the world's most dangerous track. Thankfully, that we don't have any kind of form of lineup for said track. It is the Nürburgring, thankfully.
otherwise known as the Green Hell.
Yep.
Did a race around it at the end of last season in the GT4s and the touring cars. Wasn't broadcast, but I can tell you from personal experience, it's not fun driving 2 hours around that track. It's horrible.
Especially in the GT86, when that thing has no grip as it is.
Absolutely, it's horrible.
Yeah.
Just hearing a comments section, and we've got Camber saying good luck to all the Tier 1 drivers. Camber obviously finished 7th in the Tier 2 race. We've also got Kurt Hodgson requesting we have an onboard camera of Smithy. Smithy closing that gap at the front. Let's ride on board and see what he's seeing. You can see here coming through the final turn. G just ahead in front of him, 1.7 seconds, getting bigger and bigger. Last time around, G 1 minute 40.4. Smithy 6/10 faster. So he is closing that gap here. This is race on here as we come into the final third here of the sprint race for Motive Racing's GTE Championship Tier 1 here at Suzuka. And it's been a pretty close race here at the front. Story of this one was Bruce AFC qualified on pole position, got a horrible start, lost places to the only G and Smithy off the line, and hasn't been able to get back past them since. Turbulent air is rife around this circuit, and it's so hard to run in the toe behind someone, as these guys are finding out. The top three separated by 3 seconds, and G has controlled the race since the start. Smithy still sat not too far behind him, just waiting to pounce, probably staying out of that turbulent air. And obviously G has had some pretty phenomenal pace so far as well. Bruce sat behind these guys also, waiting in the wings as well. JR unfortunately not on the pace of the leaders at the moment, sat in 4th place. Still some good points there for JR, and ultimately driving the BMW is not easy at all to get that thing hooked up. It's a good performance so far from him. He's got plenty of pace in this GTEs, we all know that already. He is our GT3 league coordinator and commentator at that league as well. If you haven't already, guys, make sure you tune in at 5 PM British summer time, that's UK time, for the GT3 league every Saturday. at 5 o'clock in the evening. It's an early evening start on Saturday, Super Saturday. You've got the LMP2s after that at 8 o'clock, but definitely tune in at 5 for that one because he's an absolute masterclass on the mic. One of the best commentators I've ever seen. As we see Smithy almost getting sideways there, coming through turn 1, has to counteract the steering to avoid spinning round there. You see on the onboard shot, you've got a fantastic view of Smithy almost spinning it there, but just about clinging onto the car. Definitely living dangerously, but he has closed that gap in the first sector here to the only G. Still under under 2 seconds between these boys. 4 minutes left to go in this session. We've got 3 laps, I believe. Should be about 3 laps left to go in this race. 3 or 4 laps left to go.
Well, it's hard enough to drive this track on your own when you've got your own wee pocket to race in without having to worry about other drivers. But when you've got somebody coming up behind you, or just you coming up behind someone else, it does get into your head, and it kind of forces you to do things that you wouldn't normally do as a racer.
It certainly does. It's sometimes you can't avoid the impulse that you feel when you've got someone right behind you. Sometimes your body takes over, and you might in your mind you want to hold it together, but you can't always keep it together. And it looks like these guys are combating those nerves pretty well for the time being, though, as we see Bruce is closing that gap to our man in P2 Smithy. Yeah, so coming through 130R, Smithy kicking up a bit of the grass on the right hand side, coming through that corner. Bruce is definitely closing that gap. The G seems to have pulled it out a little bit to Smithy, but the battle for P2 still raging on here as we come over the line.
It would appear that more than half of our races tonight has actually conceived some kind of penalty, which is very easy to do on this track. It was the same on Tier 2. It's just super easy, especially when you're going at that high speed. Oh, no, it's Bruce Lewis.
Yeah, very close there, just about clinging onto the car. So Bruce there, obviously feeling the turbulent air from the car in front, which Project Cars 2 recreates very realistically, it must be said. But feeling the pressure now. It looks like Smithy has pulled out 1.2 seconds to Bruce with that little incident there, that little wobble that we saw from Bruce. The only G has got a 2-second lead at the front, just under 2 seconds now. Smithy's still closing that gap. A lap and a half left to go in this one as they come out of Degno and come through this middle section here up towards Spoon Curve, and then they'll be flat out to the line from that point on. But we see Bruce there already reeling Smithy back in after that little wobble into Spoon Curve. Hard on the brakes here. You see the Ford GT, a little bit of sparks emitting from the back of that car as they embark on the back straight now. And Bruce is a second down on his personal best lap time in this race at the moment. Let's keep an eye on the only G, because the lap time around here is 1:38, 1:39. Let's see if he crosses the line with 1:38 on the clock, because this will tell us whether or not we're going to have 1 or 2 more laps. Here comes the only G. I reckon this is the final lap of the race here.
Yeah,
1 minute 35.
This is a 0.8 seconds behind his personal best right now.
Yeah, so 1 minute 35 left on the clock as he crossed the line. His fastest lap. Oh, what's happening in the background? Is that a back marker there? It must have been a back marker, because I saw somebody go into the Palace Diary and then they retired straight away.
Yeah,
That must be
I
ASL.
saw somebody, but I don't know who it was.
Yeah, ASL getting all sorts of sideways there coming through.
Oh no, Smithy
Smithy
off.
lost it. Oh my goodness me, Smithy losing the car, and Bruce has been gifted second place there, but he has got a penalty from the race director. Bruce there with some kind of penalty, don't know what it is, but Smithy there getting all sorts of out of shape and losing the position. Still sat in a podium spot, solid.
1 second.
For Smithy. 1 second penalty for Bruce, so it looks like he is going to take second here ahead of Smithy in this race. Very unfortunate there for Smithy on the final lap of this sprint race.
Oh, Peanut's disconnected.
ARTL there looks like he might be resetting his game. Not sure exactly what's occurring there. Obviously, having a torrid race here in this sprint race this evening. We see Smithy going very wide through Spoon. Gathers it together though. Where's our race leader, the only G? At the moment, it looks like he's coming up towards the end of the back straight and towards Spoon Curve. Here he is. The only G has controlled the race from the start here. Took the lead off the line ahead of Bruce AFC, got the perfect getaway, and really the race. I hate to say it was decided in the first corner because obviously he's had to drive consistently throughout, but Ione G takes the win here for the sprint race at Suzuka in the GTE Championship for Motive Racing, round 4. And I think the race was really won in the first corner here today, Emo Guy. I think it was all about the start for him.
Yeah, he just, he took advantage of other people trying to slow down, trying not to crash, and he just went head first, straight into it, got ahead, kept that time.
Yeah, it was excellent performance. Bruce taking second, Smithy completing the podium. JR comes over in 4th position. Then we got Dalavan completing the top 5. Looks like Falgas is going to come around in 6th. Then My Dad Peanut. Unfortunate result for him. Likewise, Granite Steed. The Porsche is really struggling aside from Smithy tonight. You got Ugbar in 9th. ALTL unfortunately retiring from the race. But yeah, some great racing at the front between those top 3 boys. Podium finishers. They're doing a good job. So we're about to go racing here for the well, we're going to have the qualifying session for feature race coming up in a few moments time, and we'll be live for that one very, very shortly. You see there the top 2 guys, the ODG and Bruce AFC, doing identical fastest laps, but they're not doing the fastest lap of all. The fastest lap of all actually goes to Smithy on a 1:39.1, so well done to Smithy on that one. Guys, we'll be back very, very shortly for the qualifying for the feature race. Be sure to stay with us. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and join us on Discord. The link will be on the YouTube homepage in the top right hand corner. There's a little icon there. Click on the Discord icon and you can become a part of the action that you see out on track. We'll see you guys very, very shortly, and in a bit.
Well, it looked like Harris actually had I think it was like a 50-second penalty there.
Right, I'm just going to turn our audio off. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Suzuka for the feature race here this evening for Motive Racing's GTE Championship. Joined once again in the commentary box by Emo Guy.
Evening folks, how are you all doing today? I hope you're all doing well, staying safe out there, and glad to have you back here enjoying another night of racing here at Motive.
Well, you say that one man who definitely wasn't staying safe there was my dad Peanut, getting very, very loose there, coming into the last turn, getting sideways onto the white lines and putting it into the barriers. He's returned to the pits and he will go again, I'm sure. We're currently riding with Upgar here as he's coming up the back straight up towards 130R. Let's see if he can absolutely nail this one. Driving in the orange Corvette, taking a very central line as he came through there. And up towards the last turn. Again, hogging the middle of the track, not really taking a conventional racing line. Let's see what our Flying Dutchman can do here coming over the line. I think it was an outlap. But Flying Dutchman finished in 9th in our sprint race this evening. Is our lead coordinator and one of our stewards here. Hold on. Hold up. Hold up. Wait. Ian.
Hello.
What did you do that made the numbers change?
What do we make the numbers change?
Basically, it went from showing the top 4 on the standings at the bottom to changing to the 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th. Mate, can you press whatever you just pressed? Because it just made it move.
I've not done that.
No, trust me. Just do what you did just now. Because it made the numbers change. Ah, no, it's not doing it anymore. I don't know what it was. Yeah, it's that.
No.
Whatever you just did.
I'm pressing R1 and L1.
Yeah, do it again.
Which way? Left or right?
Do it either way. Either way. Are you doing it now?
Yeah.
What about R2? No, it's not doing it anymore. I don't know what it was. I don't know what causes the numbers to move along on the screen, but regardless of that, anyway, I mean, we are here for the qualifying session. The top 5 cannot qualify from the sprint race, so all of the guys who finished at the top of the sprint race are having to sit this one out in the pit lane. So that will give us a chance for all the guys who finished mid. But there we go, it happened again. Oh no, it's fine.
What the hell?
Ignore it, it's fine. No, no. Oh, it doesn't matter. But
That's got to get on your nerves, isn't it?
yeah, it's going to drive me crackers now. Every time I see a decision show, I'm going to think, it's happened again. But no. But anyway, regardless, we've got Ogbar currently set at the top of the timing sheets on a 1:42.44. My dad Peanut so far on his stuff is actually 2.5 seconds up on his personal best as he comes through Degner 2 and up towards through the middle sector now. Currently running on his legally lap time. He has a great record here in his feature race qualifying sessions. Just my dad Peanut always puts in a shift in these particular sessions. Obviously, the top 5 unable to qualify. He wants to make the most of that opportunity. Usually a front to midfield runner, my dad Peanut, as he comes out onto the back straight away here in this Porsche 911 or 912, sorry. And up towards 130R, you can see the Suzuka Eye there in the background. I don't know if it's actually called the Suzuka Eye, but that's what I'm going to call it for tonight. As we see, my dad Peanut 9 seconds up on his personal best lap time. Let's see if this is going to be pole position for him as he comes over the line now.
Oh, second.
Not, but it's yeah, great lap there from my dad Peanut. Very impressive time here. We see Ugbar coming over the line. Can he improve on his current lap time? He can.
Oh. Can he? Did he?
Yeah, up to P3.
Oh, he did.
Very impressive lap time there for our Flying Dutchman. But he's 4 tenths up on this lap already, is Ugbar, so this could potentially be a big improvement here in this session.
Yeah, just looking at some comments here from the Mutts Nuts that was racing with us in Tier 2. So watched the rumble strips, they feel like ice after about 5 laps. Yeah, that is definitely true, especially on that last corner that Akbar is just about to come up to. If you clip it just a little bit while you've got your foot in the accelerator, you're going to spin. There's nothing you're going to do about it. You're going to spin if you clip it. Yes, yeah, if Akbar can try and improve that lap time and try and get up higher, and up, maybe onto pole position. Let's see, can he do it? No, he can't. Unfortunately not. JR coming in soon. Akbar on his new wheel G29. Yeah, it's it's definitely something to get used to when you're playing for so long on a controller. Then going from it and then going to a steering wheel, you have a lot more freedom with the steering wheel. But there's also a lot more work that has to go into the input while using the steering wheel. It's just a massive difference. Like, can I work your way or just go out and completely fight against you? Oh no, the tires goes off.
Yeah, Harris currently provisional pole position in this session, comes over the line and not able to improve obviously after that. It looks like, did he just make it over in time to start another one?
No, he didn't, unfortunately. I don't think so. No, he
No,
didn't.
no he didn't. So it looks like that's it for the session. In fact, DC Wrestle is the only man out there on a lap time at the moment. He's currently set P5, 1.3 seconds off of the ultimate pace here in his feature race qualifying session.
As long as they can keep those corners, they can hug those corners, keep his speed up, keep that racing lane. He will be able to put in a good time and try and get further up the board.
Yeah, hopefully you can get it together in the later part of this session. It comes into spoon curve now. See what the split times are here as he comes out onto this back straight. He's pretty much dead even with his personal best. He's only 3 tenths off of Ugbar's time, so they could get up to P4 here. Can DC Wrestle if he nails this last section of the track? It's pretty much flat out. It's all about positioning the car in the most convenient part of the track here as DC Wrestle comes out the last turn now. Can he move up from 5th place in this session? Over the line now, and he stays P5 by the looks of it. So that is that, ladies and gentlemen, here for that session, for the session for feature race. So it's going to be Harris starting on pole position for this one, with My Dad Peanut lining up alongside him. Then you got Falgest and Ugbar lining up on the second row. DC Wrestler and Grandad Steve 5th and 6th. JR, Bruce, Dalavan and Smithy all unable to qualify here for this one, and likewise the only G. So We're about to go racing here for the feature race, ladies and gentlemen. Let us know in the comments section who you think is going to take this one. Do you reckon any of those guys who finished at the front, starting at the back for this feature race, can come back and take the W here in this one? Or is a guy like Harris, who's got the pace and the potential, going to make the most of starting on pole? My Dad Peanut, likewise, I'm sure is going to have something to say about that though.
Well, it's one thing starting first, but it's when you've got that many cars behind you, and you're coming down to from the start line you've got a very short straight with these many cars behind you. It's going to be very intimidating. It's going to force a lot of mistakes. It's just all about keeping your head in the game and keeping fit and making sure that you keep your car on black stuff.
Absolutely, it is. And the run to the first corner is going to be very interesting here because we are in the dark here. It's night time at Suzuka, so be a bit of cold tyres here. These boys are going to have to be aware of this. I hope they've done practice here in the nighttime conditions for this race. Let's hope they're prepared and they know what they're getting into here. Here in the night sky in Japan, you've got Harris on the front row with My Dad Peanut alongside him. Falguest and Ugbar looking like they want to get involved in this action straight off the line. I'm absolutely certain they will be gunning for the win tonight. But let us know in the comments who you think is going to do this one tonight. Should be an absolutely fascinating spectacle of racing. Just got to post to Instagram. That's it.
Perfect.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We are moments away from lights out here for the feature race for round 4 of Motive Racing's GTE Championship here at Suzuka. When these lights go out, we'll be underway, and it looks like we are gone. It's a good start there from My Dad Peanut, and likewise Falguest as well from the second row there. It's going to split them up the inside here and try and go down the middle of these two boys coming up towards turn 1. Harris just about holds on to the lead ahead of My Dad Peanut. Falguest had a look towards the inside but couldn't make the move into turn 1. It looks like we've got Ugbar up into P4 ahead of Grandad Steve. These guys are side by side here coming up towards the S's. Looks like Steve has in the end actually been out dragged there by Bruce as well. So Bruce making a fantastic start up into P5 already. DC Wrestle down to 7th place. Looks like JR, the only G, and Smithy still at the back of the field after the first sector or so. We got Grandad
Sorry to cut you off. Sorry to cut you off here, but it looks like we've actually lost Dalavan.
Oh my goodness, has he disconnected?
Yeah, I believe he has.
Dalavan disconnecting before we even got to turn 1 there. That is an absolute disaster there for our Italian driver. Our championship leader in the GT3 Elite tier on Saturdays. That's absolutely gutting to see. Just glad that his disconnection didn't come in the GT3 championship, because that's the one where he's really looking very strong here for the championship at Motive Racing. As we ride with Grandad Steve here, he's riding just behind what looks to be Ugbar and Bruce Law here, running in 4th and 5th, coming through Spoon Curve now. It looks like somebody's gone very, very wide there, coming through Spoon. I think JR, I think the ODG's managed to get past JR for 7th place. But Steve still sticking to the back of Bruce. You've got Ugbar. Hold on.
Oh no!
Oh my goodness me! So a couple of guys off into the barriers. That is a disaster there. It looks like My Dad Peanut has gone into the barriers. He's got caught up in a collision there with Smithy. Both of these boys in all sorts of trouble here. It looks like Smithy's in the wall and struggling to get the car turned back round and in the right direction. He finally does, and he's now running, going for a very unorthodox line over the sleeping policeman there, coming through that last turn. Not at all what Smithy would have wanted at the start of this race.
It's definitely, that's like I've said before, going through that corner at that speed with that many people either beside you or behind you, it's going to be a recipe for disaster at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. It's never the way to go through there, but Smithy there coming in for his mandatory pit stop, making the most of a bad situation here. Hopefully you can come back later in the race and score some good points in this one. Only 10 drivers left on the track here for this feature race, but Harris at the moment running in a very, very prominent position, made the most of his qualifying where he put it on pole position with the top 5 from the sprint race, unable to qualify, and he's got a 1.4 second lead at the front over Falguest, but Falguest also making a good start. Ugbar looks like he's coming under pressure now from Bruce here for P3. Side by side into Spoons. Bruce looks to the outside, but Ugbar holds the inside line and keeping on to position for the time. It looks like Bruce has gone very wide there, and that's going to allow Grandad Steve to have a look at the inside. He's going to have to move here, but these guys are now going to go 3 wide here, coming out onto the back straight.
Oh,
Steve
no.
with the inside. Steve looked like somebody didn't hold their line there, and these boys, the 3 of them, could crash here in a straight line coming up the back straight. Don't know who didn't hold their line. It was either Harris or Steve didn't hold their line there, and it's caused a pile up, which Ugbar was just an innocent victim of there. It's very unfortunate to see. Hopefully,
it's extremely unfortunate.
Hopefully there'll be a stewards inquiry and we can find out who was at fault for that incident. But in the meantime, my dad Peanut is running in 4th place, 8 seconds off of the race lead. It looks like he had a turbulent start to this race, but he is now in some clear air, and hopefully he can get the hammer down and try and get onto the podium here in this race. It's definitely not beyond his reach for this feature race here. It's definitely got a chance. But the gap at the front between Harris and Falguest is looking pretty close. Only 8 tenths separating these boys. The Porsche is definitely closing in here on the Ferrari at the front. Sorry.
Oh yeah, the Porsche, it definitely has the grip. It's got more grip. Sorry.
Sorry, the Corvette, not the Ferrari. Sorry, apologies.
No, it's just the Porsche. It doesn't have that much of a top end, but it definitely has that grip to get around those corners a lot better than that Corvette. That's exactly where Falguest is able to pull back those precious seconds, try and catch up to Harris, and just use that slipstream and keep up with him while taking advantage of that top end of that Corvette.
Yeah, he definitely is making the most of it at the moment. And Falguest, you can see in the slipstream's definitely closing in at the end of the straight. That's where he's got to be losing a bit of time as we see.
As he takes it wide.
Oh, getting onto the marbles there on the exit of 130R. That's never a good sign. Those tyres are going to suffer later on in the race. Let's hope that he's on the hards and not the softs. I mean, the temperature at the moment is going to definitely benefit the soft tyres in terms of overall grip and pace, but I'd say the hard tyres have got to be the option to go on with the longevity that they've got. But just at these temperatures, I'm not sure if they're going to work at 100%. Oh, what's happened to
Ugbar's
Ugbar?
crashed.
Ugbar's spun it on the exit of 130R, waits for the other cars to go round and take their position ahead of them.
Oh, and somebody else who's crashed as well.
Oh, somebody else has spun. Who's that?
That looks like a back marker. That looked like it may have been Smithy.
Yeah, I can't figure out who that was because there's nobody near Ugbar on the timing.
No, it was Grandad Steve. He was right in that corner.
Grandad Steve spun it. No, that was 130R that we were just watching there. I'm sure it was. Can't have been Grandad Steve.
Yeah, because he was right at that corner, the opposite end, just across the fence from Ugbar.
Can't have been Grandad Steve. I think it must have been Smithy. Yeah, Smithy driving the Porsche. Smithy having an absolute mare in this race. Finished in 3rd in the sprint, and unfortunately had a few incidents later on in the race, which dropped him down to 3rd place. But sorry, he wasn't leading the race. He was right behind the race leader G for quite a lot of the race though, and unfortunately the feature has not gone well at all for him. He's made his mandatory stop already, so he's got that out of the way. It looks like he's very close out on the track with the My Dad Peanut at the moment. Actually, these boys looking very, very close on the telemetry. But in the meantime, we are watching the only G who has had a good start to this race. Started at the back as per the top 5 don't qualify rule. And we've had a retirement from the race in the early stages. Looks like My Dad Peanut has retired the car. That is incredibly unfortunate to see there. He is out of the race already at this early stage.
Yeah, it's just what unfortunately it's just one of those kind of tracks. It really does test your patience. It's more like it's more like towards a stress test for a computer. It does take the stress. It does add stress onto yourself.
Oh,
it does seem with the OG.
That was not expected at all. We saw G was closing in that gap to the top 2 leaders. Sorry, mate.
That's just like I would say. It's like you can compare this track to a stress test for a computer. It really does put you through your paces. It really does make you have to focus. It just puts you through so much confusion compared to what we've seen in the past with our different tracks, where it's been a lot more open, not as bendy, not as tight. So this one's definitely a lot more stressful for the drivers of tonight, I think.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. It's one of those where you can never really afford to switch off. The smallest mistake um, drops you way back here in this one. We see the only G unfortunately becoming a victim of that, coming through the S's earlier on in this lap, but he's still keeping it together, still keeping his head in the game. Valges has dropped a little bit off of our race leader Harris now. He sits 2 seconds behind him in P2. We saw him, was right up the trumpet of him a few laps ago, but he has dropped off a little bit. 2.3 seconds now, the gap between the race leader in the Corvette and our man in P2 in the Porsche. Another Corvette in third place. We've got a Ferrari running in fourth. DC Russell doing a good job, currently running their top 5 position in his debut feature race here in the Tier 1. Very impressive, very impressed by him so far here.
Yeah, he's definitely learned his lesson from the first race that we had tonight. He must have definitely done something with the car. Got on the radio with his engineers, explained what issues he's got going on, what he feels the car is trying to tell him, and he's just they've definitely pulled together and sorted out all of those issues, and definitely made the car a lot more performance happy. Oh, as I say that, he spins it.
Oh, Falgas getting all sorts of out of shape there. Losing a lot of time. He's going to fall back into the clutches here of the only G. Looks like G has actually made his way around him. Falgas is taking his time getting back onto the track there. Seems to be hopelessly detached there on the left hand side on the exit of Degner. Really struggling to get that car back going in the right direction again. It's unfortunate to see. Maybe those tyres are getting pretty cold. Obviously it's now middle of the night here at Suzuka. So the grip is going to be going away hand over fist, and these boys that started on the hard tyres are going to start struggling. But as the race goes on, it should come back to them once the soft tyres start to wear out. As we see there, Falgas, that is why you don't text and drive, ladies and gentlemen. There you see doing a bit of lawn mowing there on the back straight, and yeah, as I say, it's very, very dangerous to text and drive, kids. So make sure you don't do that, because it does kill people, and you can save lives by making sure that you pit. Here we go. He's coming into the pits to do his texting. Sorry, Fal. Sorry, Fal.
Definitely a commentator's curse there. I'm definitely going to be keeping my mouth shut when it comes to Falgas from now on.
In the meantime, though, we've got Harris running in lead of the race. He's got a 5-second gap at the moment to the only G. Last time around, though, G did gain 0.8 of a second on him, so he is bridging that gap a little bit, but Harris is controlling things out the front. He took pole position, obviously made the most of the top 5 don't qualify rule, and managed to get the march on his opponents, and it's been a pretty decent start, I would say, from Harris to this feature race. We're just over a third of the distance here. I mean, what do you make of what we've seen so far from our race leader? Do you think it's been a solid performance so far?
Oh yeah, doing absolutely fantastic. We're coming back from being able to start at the top of the pack, and being able to compete with these kind of the elite here, such as everybody else here, like the only G, Falgas, DR, and still being able to keep a 4-second lead on the only G, our first race winner, is doing spectacular. Hats off to him. Let's see if you could try and either increase that lead or just keep it where it is.
Well, let's see. This time around, sorry, Harris comes over the line, and it's a 1 minute 42.5 for Harris, and G does a 1 minute 39, so he's 2.5 seconds faster that time around. That just goes to show the momentum is well and truly with the only G, our sprint race winner here, and running reasonably high in the championship. He's our championship leader in the GT5 Ginetta League on Fridays. Is running away with that one, second in the Clio Cup standings. We see Harris getting over the grass there, coming through the S's, getting all over the place, and that's going to allow G to pull right up onto the back of him here. You can see now the gap under a second as they come up over the hill towards Degner Curves here. But Harris must be feeling the pressure now. He can see the headlights from that Corvette getting ever larger in his mirrors as we come through Degner 2 now. And suddenly, this race looks like it might be getting away from Harris.
Well, like I said, the track definitely puts you through your pace, and that stress will eventually get to you, and it will tear down your walls, and it will invade you, and it'll just open up an opportunity for other races like this, like the OG for him right now.
Yeah, definitely he's going to see that as an opportunity as we come out of Spoon Curve. But Harris has sort of recovered from that a little bit, you can see, but again, it just goes to show that when you feel that pressure from being in the lead of the race and you've got it all to lose, it really does put you in an uneasy position. And Harris there just unfortunately succumbing to the nerves a little bit. He's still got the lead though, he's got away with it for the time being. It's whether or not he can hold it. Obviously these boys both still get to make their mandatory points. Sorry mate, I'll let you say what you're going to say.
Yeah, I was about to say that it was slowly growing that lead again, but now that they're on the straight, the OG is definitely taking advantage of that slipstream, and it just seems like Harris is starting to get a little bit slower on those turns, whereas the OG is just getting faster and faster and faster, which, you know, he must be loving right now. He's definitely got himself in a perfect rhythm right now that's going to allow him to eventually overtake Harris, or just possibly have a really good battle with him.
Yeah, it's hopefully we can have a good battle here at the front. Last time around, Harris did a 1 minute 44, really struggled. Obviously, he made that mistake in the first sector. Looks like, I would say, possibly getting held up now. It looks like he has got the pace to get past him, but just can't find the right spot to make the move.
Yeah, he definitely has the pace. I think right now he's just trying to get inside the head of Harris, trying to force a mistake, just try, not try to make take too many risks that could affect his own race.
Yeah, I think you're right there. I think he just wants to stay out of trouble. And ultimately, whilst these guys do battle, one guy to keep an eye on is JR, who has been into the pits, as has Falguest actually as well. So these guys, and Smithy as well, for that matter. So Smithy pitted on lap 1 after having an absolute mare of a start to the race, and he's running 50 seconds off the lead. I believe a pit stop with the tyre change rule is about 40 to 45 seconds, somewhere between 40 and 45 seconds. So if JR in 4th currently can keep up his pace, he could be in the net race lead. If these guys keep battling and keep slowing each other down, that is going to really serve to give G a bit of a kick up the bum and try and get on with this here, because he is right up Harris's trumpet here. We just can't seem to make the move for the time being. As we see the gap coming down. The gap's coming down at the front. The gap's very close. The gap's coming down at the front. It's coming down. It's coming down. Let's get the eye of this. We see it was Harris going right there, coming through the S's. Sorry, Emo. I just saw the split time was coming down, down, down. It went from 6/10 down to 3/10 in the space of about a corner. And you can see here, this is the reason why Harris, looking like he might have made a mistake coming through the S's there. It's definitely got the only G for company, but once again, responding to the pressure. G seems to have a massive advantage down the straights though. He's gaining hand over fist, and then in the corners Harris seems to have some kind of response, but it's just down the straights that G is really flying. It's like watching it's like watching an F1 car versus the rally car in a straight line.
Well, I don't know if it's the same for you on your screen, and or not, but it would appear on my screen that actually the OG does have a front left headlight missing. I don't know if that's just lag on my end or something, but his left front headlight is out.
On my screen it isn't. On my screen he's got both of his lights, so that might be on the stream end. G does appear to have both of his headlights, so that might be a bit of lag. I'm not sure, but he has lost a bit of time here through that last sector. He's now lost about a second there. Harris did actually definitely pulled out in that last sector there. You saw the OG having a little bit of a twitch coming through 130R, which cost him, I'd say, about 7/10 in that last part of the lap there. Did a 1 minute 42.2, considerably off of his personal best for the race. We're approaching. We're past the halfway point now of this feature race. We're on lap 11 of 17 here. Ladies and gentlemen watching us live on the YouTube channel, if you want to get involved here in motive racing, then be sure to join our Discord server and become a part of the action that you see live on the track in front of you at this very moment. All you need to do is go to our YouTube homepage. I assume you're watching us on YouTube, as that's the only place that we're actually broadcasting. And click on that, click on the icon on the top right hand corner which says Discord, and then you can become part of the action. Fill in our quick reserve driver form to become a reserve for this season. Pick your class of car that you want to drive in, and obviously Mondays we've got the GTEs, which is what's on right now. We've got the Clio Cup on Tuesday nights. On Friday night we've got the GT5 Ginettas. Then on Super Saturday we've got the GT3 Championship, or GT3 Super League is its official name, at 5 PM BST, that's UK time, and 8 PM we've got the LMP2. So plenty of action for people to race, and if you can't race, then be sure to check out the stream live on the YouTube channel, as we say, 4 days a week, but 5 different championships. No, it is 4. Yeah, it's 4 days. 4 days a week. Currently, it looks like we've got. So obviously, we've got.
Oh no!
Oh, Harris there, almost getting sideways. Did you disconnect?
Sorry?
Did G just disconnect?
Oh no, he has!
G just disconnected.
Oh no!
Oh my goodness. Whilst I was sat there waffling about what days we were racing this week, it looks like the only G has disconnected from the race.
Oh no, that is
Oh,
just unfortunate. Oh, he was having such a good night as well.
yeah, that is absolutely gutting there. He was challenging for the race win here with Harris, but it looks like it's all gone horribly wrong. And now we've got JR here, who's the gap between Harris and JR is 37 seconds. Harris is still yet to come in as well.
Oh, is JR taking his pit stop? I think he has.
Yeah, JR's been in.
I think he's actually just came out.
Yeah, JR's just come out of the pit, so the only G there out of the race due to a disconnection, and Harris now leading the race, but he's going to be very precarious to the charging JR here when he eventually does come in for his mandatory pit stop.
Well, I think Harris. Well, depending on how he does how he performs for the rest of this lap. If he goes in for it now, then I believe that the minimum pit stop time for this track is roughly about 15 to 20 seconds.
15 to 20 seconds. Yeah, that's with the tyre change though. But throughout the actual whole pit lane, I think it's a little bit longer. And we see our race leader Harris has brought it into the pit lane for his mandatory pit stop. Let's see how quickly these boys can get him up and off the jacks and on his way here.
For me, he was grinding on the outside of the pit wall. That is just weird. I do not have words for that one.
Bit of lag going on there, my guy. Didn't experience that on my side, but here we go. We've got JR exiting the last corner now. By the looks of it, I think he's going to have it done, you know. I think JR's going to take the lead.
Yeah, he definitely is.
As he cuts to the inside of towards the pit wall there, as a motion to Harris to say, see you later, into the turn one, and he's got a clear race lead now. Falguest emerges in second place. JR with a 4-second lead here. New racer, 2 tier 1. Brilliant to see. If you could see how different this room is compared to when I last turned around. This room looks like a different room.
Oh, no, I'm just looking in the GTA chat on our Discord, and Dolly G had put in a message saying, oops.
He's what?
He put in a message saying, oops.
Well, we don't know what happened there with the only G. I think it must have been a disconnection. Surely that's the only explanation I could possibly offer for what has happened here.
Well, I guess we shall see in a couple of minutes where once Dolly G does reply to the message I put in.
Yeah, he's commented oops on the YouTube stream as let's just quickly have a look at the YouTube comment section. We haven't read them out so far in this feature race. So we got
Oh no!
Corey Smith
Oh, I
going.
found out what happened.
Sorry?
I found out what happened. He was speeding into the pit lane.
I got disqualified.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, that is extremely
Early
unfortunate for the
G
OG.
disqualified for speeding in the pit lane. That explains that retirement there. Very unfortunate there for G. But that has gifted the race lead to JR, and it looks like surely a certain victory at this point. I don't want to give him the commentator's curse, but I mean, how can he lose this race at this point? It's just not feasible.
Now with less than 5 laps to go, he's got a comfortable 4.5 second lead. As long as he keeps it on the track, keeps it stable, keeps his mind in the game, this feature race is definitely going to be in the bag for him.
Yeah, absolutely should be. See Falguest running in P2. He's 3 seconds up the road here from Smithy, so this potentially could be a battle developing for P2. Falguest and Smithy separated by not very much at all on the road at the moment. Falguest lapping 1.2 seconds slower than the man who is just a couple of seconds down the road behind him. So I'm sure that Smithy would love to gain an extra 3 points here in this race. Potentially another point for fastest lap as well. We just don't know what's going to happen here. But as we approach the final 3 laps here of this feature race, it looks like it's going to be JR taking the W, as we see Falguest getting very wide there on the exit of Spoon, and now Smithy is going to have the slipstream here coming down this back straight up towards 130R, just about within a second here. This is a flat out section of the track, so it's going to be Porsche power. Oh my goodness, no, Smithy spins it on the exit of 130R.
Oh, no.
And he's going to have to watch for these guys coming round the corner. Harris comes round, picks up 3rd place. The long-time leader in this race, Harris, looks like he's going to finish on the podium, but that is a disaster. Gutting there for Smithy here. Loses the car on the exit at 130R, hits the inside wall, and that was all she wrote. Oh my goodness, what's happened in front of him? Falguest is now losing it. The Porsches are all over the place in the last few laps of this race. What has happened?
Oh, as JR has built up a fantastic 12-second lead on Harris and Falguest. This is definitely going to be JR's race for tonight.
Surely has to be, unless it would take a major capitulation from JR to not take the victory now. He's got 12 seconds out the front, as you say, and Falguest trying to pick up the pieces and nail Harris on this last couple of laps. Obviously we saw him lose the position there into turn 1, got wide and got onto the marbles on the left hand side, gifting Harris 2nd place. Harris being gifted 2 positions there on this last lap. Smithy going off at 130R, Falguest losing it into turn 1. So Harris there a little bit fortuitous. Obviously was the pole sitter here for this feature race, led the race for a number of laps, had pressure from the only G, which slowed both of those boys down. And whilst that was happening, JR and Falguest really got their foot down and managed to actually get jumper Harris in the pit stops and ended up in 1st and 2nd. But unfortunately, Falguest here having a mistake, which has dropped him down to 3rd place. JR still living off the luxuries of that fantastic strategy. As we see Harris getting loose. Harris goes sideways into the last turn, spins it into the wall, and oh, that is disastrous there for Harris. All over the place.
Oh, that is just extremely unfortunate. He was having such a good race.
Oh my goodness. Just as it looked like Harris was going to pick up a podium finish here after taking pole position at the start of this race, it has all gone wrong for him. Down into 5th position here. We have got a lap and a half left to go here in this feature race, and it looks like Harris has thrown it away, ladies and gentlemen. It's very, very unfortunate, but that is racing, I suppose, at the highest level.
Just looking at one of the comments on the channel, Tom Sarb saying this is not racing, cars all over the place crashing. Well, I don't know if you're just all enjoying this, Tom, but I was saying earlier on, but that this track it's extremely stressing on all these drivers. It's not one of those kind of tracks that these guys are used to. It's a lot more technical. It's a lot more tight than what all the other tracks that we have been on during season 2 of the GTEs. So also this is just not their night tonight at all.
No, no, absolutely not. Looks like it's well and truly a BMW hotspot though for JR, who's leading the race. Looks like JR lock and load is on to the final lap of the race. Currently watching Smithy here, but here's JR coming through turn 1 now. Been a flawless feature race from him.
Oh yeah, I've not seen him, spin out or crash once yet. I've not seen him fault any kind of driving tonight on this race at all. Hats off to him. He's kept his composure. He's kept an eye out for any mistakes by other drivers, and he's just kept his patience, kept it back, kept it clean, and he's just took the opportunities as he sees them.
He has, and yeah, not put a foot wrong. This comes in today, but it looks like we've got a battle going on between Smithy and Bruce. We'll need to keep one eye on JR, but the other one is well and truly on this battle here for the final podium spot. Smithy and Bruce AFC. Who is going to get it here as they come up the hill towards the end of the first sector? It looks like Smithy should have this one, but Bruce is going to fight it with everything he has here. Keeping an eye on where JR is on the track. I think, let's grab JR, let's see whereabouts he is. I think he should be in the last sector of the race now. Here he is.
Yep.
Our man from York, our admin here at Motive Racing.
Definitely a well and truly deserved win for tonight. He's been doing such a fantastic job on track and in our Discord community as he comes across the line to claim the W for our feature race here tonight.
JR is the winner here in the feature. Fantastic job from him. Truly bossed the strategy call tonight. Made the pit stop at the right time. Got the hammer down when it was needed. And takes a well-deserved W there. Looks like Falguest is going to come around in second place here.
Oh no! Oh no!
What's happened? Falguest throws away the podium spot in the last knockings of the race. And Smithy loses second place by virtue of a penalty. He drops down to third. Falguest there. What on earth happened through that last corner? DC Wrestle all over the place there. Looks like somebody going off into the wall in the background there as well.
Yeah, it was Grandad Steve.
Goodness knows what is going on here. There's cars. Look. Look at him as he does a little wink for the camera there over the line. Oh my goodness. What a race.
It does. With these cars tonight, especially the Porsches, they are good cars. But right now it just looks like they've came out of an arena that they're straight from Wreckfest.
Yeah, bizarre. Absolutely bizarre finish to the race there. But JR taking the victory. Ugbar's coming around in 7th place. Good to see our Flying Dutchman getting some good points tonight on his first night with the wheel. He will improve no end as he gets more practice and more running time on the G29. But JR is your winner, ladies and gentlemen. Fastest lap goes to Smithy. Bruce and Smithy completing our podium. We've got Harris, Falguest, DC Wrestle and Ugbar 6th and 7th, Grandad Stee, and the only G unfortunately disqualified for speeding in the pit lane after he was on for a good fight for the win. He would have definitely been on the podium, I'm sure about that. But great race there from JR Lock and Load, Bruce and Smithy. I want to say, while we're on stream, a big shout out to John Laws 005. A lot of people will know him on the PlayStation 4 sim racing community here on Project Cars 2 especially, but also Gran Turismo from the past. Obviously he's hope he's doing okay at the moment. Some people will know, some people won't, but hope he is alright. But regardless of that, we're going to see if we can get a quick word here with our race winner JR, if we can. Let's see if we can get him in the box here for a quick interview.
Yeah, but just once again, just hats off to the guy. He's just a very well done, well deserved win tonight. He's a fantastic all round guy. he's really nice to talk to. He's a really clean racer. He always proves it on the track. And he's been doing everything in his power to make sure that his league, the GT3s, runs as smoothly as possible. Even while having to being a full-time dad, it's spectacular. And I have so much respect for the guy.
Yeah, he really does put in a hell of a lot of work here. And here he is into the commentary box. Good to have you with us, JR. We saw that you emerged from the pits ahead of Harris there when he came out of the at the end of the pit lane. You came out with a comfortable lead actually over him and Falgas. Just tell us, was it about the strategy today that won you this race, and how was it from your perspective?
I think I think after first lap, I kind of forced my hand with the accident and whatnot to pit early. Otherwise, I'm just going to lose hand over fist over time. I couldn't honestly believe it when I came around that last corner and seen that lad in the pit. I had no idea that honest to God, I was not even thinking for a second that first was on the cards. And I think this week was sort of given to me because Archel isn't here. Big shout out to him as well. But big shout out to the lads on the grid there. Smithy, absolutely rapid, and Al and whatnot too. There's a couple of guys out tonight that was very quick. I wasn't necessarily the fastest car on grid, but I think strategy ultimately worked in my favour. Yeah.
Yeah, congratulations. It's brilliant, flawless drive from you to obviously pit it at the right time. You needed to pit at that moment, otherwise, as you say, you'd have been losing a ridiculous amount of times. But you responded really well, and I actually noticed on the stream, I think before you did, that you were dark horse for the win, because I think the gap between you and the leader was between 40 and 45 seconds. And when I saw that, I said, JR's going to be there when these guys come in, because the pit stops are around 40 seconds. So I think I'd already spotted you were sort of creeping into this race. Great job from yourself. Good to see you getting taking home the bacon.
Yeah, I appreciate it, lads, and top job as well, Andy and Emo, for tonight from all the GTE guys. Thank you, boys. Cheers,
Thank
guys.
you very much.
Right, cheers.
So that was the race winner there. Said he didn't know he was in contention for the race win in this one until he emerged at the end of the pit lane, and he saw obviously Harris still in the pit lane behind him. So it must have been quite a nice surprise for him to emerge in the lead there. I'd love to have had that situation. I had a similar one actually at Fuji in the GT3s when Stefano got held in the pits and I emerged in the lead. And again, it's always a nice feeling when you get to the end of the straight and you're suddenly in the lead.
It's the same with me when I with the Clios last week. I wasn't expecting to get anywhere near first, and I just I didn't even know what I was doing. I'm going to be honest, I had just blacked out and did what I did. If you guys watched the stream last week, and you'll know what I'm talking about. Then I just did it and I took the win. It's just one of those things that you don't really think about. You just do it, and it comes. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, it's when it comes off, it's great. When it doesn't, got to live to fight another day. But great racing there from everybody involved. Big thank you to you, Ian, my guy, for joining me in the box. The room behind me has changed a little bit. I think there's some furniture being rearranged, so I'm just gonna see to this. But anyway, we're gonna get off air. We're gonna close the stream off. Thank you everybody for joining us live on YouTube. Thank you, my guy, for joining me once again.
Of course.
And we will see you guys next week for the GTE Championship round 5. And next week, hopefully we'll have Archil back, the championship leader. I don't know if he's still the championship leader after this round, actually. But the next round coming up next week should be a good one. Looking forward to it already, and it's going to be at Willow Springs Raceway, so it should be a good one. Yep, back to the USA for that one. But anyway, we're going to catch you all tomorrow. Join us tomorrow for the Clio Cup live from 7 PM BST. We are going to be at
Long Beach
for that one, yeah. So Tour of the USA coming up for this next week here at Motive Racing. We're definitely going now. Alright. Alright. See you guys in a bit.
everybody, and I hope stay safe, and we hope to catch you next week.
Take care, everyone.